Thanks for taking some time out of your day to talk to the Circles team, Amanda. Would you introduce yourself, please?
My name's Amanda Kern, and I teach in graphic design on East Campus.
Now, we've heard some stories about this Switcheroo teaching technique. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, we recently made some changes in our curriculum, and in talking to industry professionals, they asked for us to work on some industry skills that students would need, such as being able to adapt to multiple different design situations, such as, for instance, if you work as a graphic designer, you may actually have a designer quit or a designer sick or perhaps switch teams. So we basically have created an in-class scenario where we have students design a web page. They're given 2.5 hours, so they're under a time constraint. And then basically halfway through we switch them. They have no idea that they're going to switch with a classmate until about halfway through when we ask them to stop. They take a screenshot of whatever they're working on, and then from there I basically pair them with another student, and they basically finish the other student's work.
So how have your students responded to this?
Well, initially they, they're a little bit stressed in the beginning because they only have 2.5 hours, when typically for a project they have 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks for a project. So basically they come in stressed, working diligently, and about halfway through when we ask them to switch, they get a little bit frustrated. Some of the students ask questions like, "Are you kidding?" or "This isn't real," or just basically in shock that they're having to switch designs because it's not quite normal for where they're at in the design program. But usually by the end they connect the reality and the learning experience to real world experience.
This sounds like a really neat experience for the students, but how are you assessing it?
So there isn't a lot of nitpicky grading with this one. It's really graded based off of them sharing their learning experiences. They keep a blog that basically they post reflections of what they're doing in the class each week. So they're expected to basically show screenshots of what they finished with midway through before they switched, and then what they finished with at the end of the Switcheroo assignment. And then from there they reflect on whatever they, what their experience was like as they went through the assignment, and the pressure that they felt dealing with the time constraint, as well as any of the frustrations that they might have felt when they switched, as well as what it was like when they switched and how it connects to working with the industry.
How do you see this relating to workforce skills or possibly even other disciplines?
I think the switching assignment is quite critical to workplace skills, because a lot of times in the industry as designers, somebody might get sick, or somebody may leave their job, and basically in the real world, like, your job isn't going to wait for somebody to come back to work. They actually need somebody to complete the job on time and complete a deadline. So students learn to adapt through this exercise and learn to work through working with other students' work. And in other disciplines, I think it could really help. I know that I've been in the medical field as a patient and with my son, and have seen, for instance, nurses, they a lot of the times end up having to switch shifts and have to take over a patient's care. I'm thinking about like artists, and perhaps having an artist create a project and begin it, and then switching in the middle and seeing how the creative results end might be interesting. And then writing, I think about how often, writers, they get stumped and they get into creative situations where they just, have writer's block. And, if you assign an assignment like this, they may end up with more creative outcomes and learn a little bit more about how to write. So I think it really could cross a lot of disciplines other than just design.
Well, thanks for sharing the Switcheroo with us.
You're welcome.